To construct a scene, a set of significant elements are brought together to form a pictorial composition. Each individual piece is a form of art itself that is rendered within a particular medium other than the camera. In the Journey to Wonderland photo series, I wanted to portray all the characters from the story of Alice's adventures in Wonderland in a very unique and original way. But at the same time, I wanted to follow some of the same facial characteristics as the John Tenniel's drawings illustrations in the book. The individual masks of the Mad Hatter, the Cook, and the Duchess were carefully handcrafted to convey similar facial features as drawn as illustrations. The distinguished animal characters of the White Rabbit, the Mouse, and the Moxie Hare were custom made to portray behavioral qualities in facial expressions and personal styles as the characters in the book. The exceptional characterizations of the Cheshire Cat and the Caterpillar were handcrafted as a standalone body form. The representation of each single deck of card characters were constructed to be displayed as a standalone flat figure, following the same concept as intended in the illustrations. Each single deck of card character is presented as an exact replica as illustrations. As you can see, the Queen of Hearts is a huge deck of cards, just like the same way it was presented in the story, in the book. For the pig and pepper scene, I had to create two different masks. One of the masks was the Duchess, and then the other mask was the Cook. The Duchess mask, handmade again, to follow the same facial features as the drawing illustrations by Jourdan Luke. Usually, when I create a mask, it takes me at least a week to create it because it has to go through phases. As I build sections, it has to dry out. Paper mache, you do a little bit and then you dry and then you go back and do more, and then after that, you paint it. For the Duchess hat, I basically had two of these wizard hats that I made for a birthday party, and I put them together and I connected them to here, and then from that then I started building it with fabric to hold it in place. It's pretty heavy because I put cushion inside of it. I stuffed it up so that to build in the shape of the hat. Here's the Cook, made with paper mache, and I wanted to make it in a way that would follow the same facial characteristics as in the drawing illustration, which include the nose on the mouth and the cheeks. For the White Rabbit, some of the characteristics was holding an umbrella, having a little bow tie, a jacket with pockets. It usually had also the watch with the ring, it had the watch with the change on it, so you can see. This is a mask hair. I made the mask too, and it has the same facial characteristics as the illustrations in the book. It has these little pieces of hair hanging out. I got this from a used store, so I didn't actually have to make this. The mask I also made it by hand. It was quite a lot of work. It actually has Velcro. Everything is stuffed up, just like you can see the mouse is right here. So also I used the screen fabric there to simulate the eyes with a little hole in there, so you can actually see in this one. So is the White Rabbit mask, also handmade, and it has a little screen fabric, and you can see actually through it too. So the Mad Hatter, we have the mask, which the mask here, the Mad Hatter hat, was also made with paper mache. It took over a week to make. I wanted to create the facial features to match the same drawing illustrations as Jourdan Luke, as you can see. You also can see it on the photograph that I show you on the video. The hat, actually I did buy the hat, I didn't make the hat. Here is the Mad Hatter outfit, which I also made from scratch with no patterns. This is the caterpillar, which I built in one day. With fabric, I stuffed it up, I cut it and then sew it by the machine with the same shape to follow the same drawing illustrations as Jourdan Luke. And then I used these little wires to create the shapes through his body to make him look bumpy, to follow this, so that he can follow the same picture in the book. For the smoking pipe, I used a lamp and a candlestick holder to simulate the hookah pipe. And then I connected like a flexible clear hose that went straight from the pipe into his mouth. And I used this little doorknob, attached it to the end of it to make it look that that's where he's smoking from. For the mushrooms, the two mushrooms were basically vinyl fabric stuffed up. The big mushroom had a built-in wood stand that would hold the weight of its size and would allow me to have the caterpillar stand on top of it without collapsing. This is part of the material that I used to create the mushroom. I had to actually take it down because I don't have a room for it. This is from right here. It's from the inside of the chute where Alice is inside the White Rabbit house, and she's this is actually the window where she's supposed to be sticking her hand out. This is the inside where I had another wall that had this little door. It's on the other side, and then I had these little pictures. These pictures right here are the ones that I had inside the White Rabbit house, where Alice at one time she's small and then another time she's big. But the shower you see her hand sticking out of the wall is not from here. It's from the actual house that I made separately. It's not even connected at all. They're two separate scenes whatsoever. These are the little gloves right here from the White Rabbit house. The three deco card guys painting the tree that has white flowers, and they're painting it red because they don't want to get their heads cut off, you know. So we have one side is number 2, the other side is number 5, and then I have another side that's number 7. The way I created the deck of card characters was to scan the drawing illustration and then enlarging each image. Once I finished enlarging it, I printed it into different pieces, and then I started placing them on a black foam board. As I did that, I would take a white pencil and I'll outline it right through it. The actual face was hand painted with acrylic paint, and the same thing as other sections that you would see in part of the character outfits. Instead of painting the whole entire deck of cards, I used felt, and then I would cut different sections in there and glue them on top of the cardboard once I actually highlighted the area. These were the kind of felt fabric that had glue in the back, and then you just peel out the piece of paper. Now some of these, as you can see, were just basically acrylic paint that I went over it because it was easy to do it that way. So I did the same thing for all the different deck of card characters. A variety of building materials were used. Structures including the large Queen of Hearts castle, large wrapping paper, large foam sheets, craft wood panels, vanishing paint, large rolls of wrapping paper with the dome design. The actual White Rabbit's house was painted with pastel chalk. And then I used recycling boxes. This area was basically using sections of wrapping paper boxes. I used a large roll of heavy-duty brown paper to create the White Rabbit hole. I cut it into sections and connected them with painter's tape to the width and height that I wanted my rabbit hole to be. Now the brown paper was not going to be thick enough to stay in a form and in place. So I found a heavy-duty roll of construction building material that is used for evening out concrete surfaces before laying down wood floors. I made a base from that material with the same height and width of the brown paper sheet that I created. I wanted the hole to have a rustic, rocky texture to make it look like Alice is really falling down the hole. To do that, I used pastel chalk to draw and shade a stone wall. For the final finish, I wrinkled the entire brown paper sheet and placed it on top of the heavy-duty construction roll of paper and stapled it. The next thing I did was to roll the entire piece of paper into a shape of a cylinder and connected the sides with duct tape. This was still not steady enough to keep the hole standing, so I found a roll of metal wire and used it to roll the wire around the cylinder from the top to the bottom and secured it with duct tape, making it look like a spring or a coil. In order to hang the rabbit hole, I made a ring with the same circumference of the hole with flexible plastic tube. Then I punched holes on the top of the hole to connect the hole to the ring, and I used Velcro to secure it. Every artistic medium has a substantial technical side that requires craftsmanship skills. Essentially, it is the most important act of art, vital to the making of a journey to Wonderland. It took many hours, many days, many months to produce just one specific theme. But the main point here, it was to produce work that can closely follow John Timmy's drawings and illustrations.